What is up, everybody? See who comes in here. If you're not Daniel Adame, who's first in here, then you're probably watching the recorded side. There's a notification. Daniel. Dude, that's got to be a record, man. Daniel Adame in the house. Hitchcock's Transport. He is fast, man. He is fast. Stu, you would have been proud of the meal I made just now. Spooby, what's up? Rican Trucker. Scott. Music Trucker Bandit. All right, Light Bright. Get a strike. Food Mooch, what's up? Sean Price. So we'll get some more people in here. Jonathan Houston, Sergeant Reno. And we'll start talking about a couple of things. Sometimes I do these live feeds and we're like, I got nothing really to talk about, which is kind of dumb if you think about it. An open forum, if you will. But today I've actually got a couple of things to talk about. So, Big Road Little Truck, what's up? Yukon. Am I going to work sometime soon? Yeah, I'm booked until Thursday. See, I go out Monday and I'm booked until Thursday. Taz, 1973. You are the winner of the subject tonight. Sonny Miller, what's up? Benjamin Duke. All right, so let's talk about a couple of things. So, life is a series of learning, right? And of course, you got the old saying, if I knew then what I knew now, right? That's the interesting part of life, I guess, is that you keep learning, and eventually you get something right. That's kind of where I'm at here. I got two things that I've been focusing in my life. Now, when it comes to the music, I haven't been focusing on that. I still have a band, per se, but we haven't practiced in a while. We haven't written anything in a while. And it's just not a priority right now. And the guys understand that. So, my wife's a bass player, so she kind of figures it out. And, as far as, where it stands on my totem pole. And my focus is on two areas of my life that I'm really, really trying to improve. One is the business, of course, and second is my diet. Okay. Now, I'm hoping little Viking coach will jump in here. No, I'm not near the hurricane, Sonny. No, Yukon, my wife's the bass player. How long did it take me to learn how to do the metal scream? It wasn't really a learning process, Daniel Adame. It was more of a muscle to be strengthened. And, interesting little trivia that no one hardly even knows. For in my early 20s, for a brief minute, I smoked cigarettes. And then once I couldn't do my vocals, I quit. Cold turkey, never looked back. So it's like a muscle. Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about, Yukon. I got you. All right. So let's go with the first one. Business. There's a Facebook person named Justin Taylor. Let me make sure I got that name right. Okay. Anybody who's in the spot market or anybody who's an owner operator should read this dude's stuff. Because he is one smart individual. And if you follow me on Facebook, whether you're friends with me or on the Snorlord side, I've posted a couple of his articles. He works for Merge Transit. And he posts quite a bit on the rate per miles page. And he basically just reading one of his things is like going to school. And it really kind of brought a couple epiphanies. And that's why I've titled this video that. Why am I not working? So Wednesday, my truck was finally finished. Or no, it wasn't finished till Thursday. And so Thursday, I'm looking for a load for Friday, and my pickings were slim. My pickings were extremely slim. If it wasn't going to Phoenix, it was going to Miami, Florida. If it wasn't going to Miami, it was going right in the heart of the hurricane. And I just couldn't make things work, you know? So the load count for Friday, loads picking up Friday, was very, very small. So I put in Monday, there they all were. So I thought, well, I'll just find my Monday load. So as I'm looking at Monday's load, I'm seeing Texas, 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 Texas. And I'm like, I need to stay out of Texas. And I'll get to the comments here. I'll have to, you know. So I'll have to go back. So if I don't read your comment, forgive me for a minute. I want to stay on topic. So I called a very good friend of mine. This is the friend that pointed me in the right direction when I was struggling at Landstar. And he'd been helping me since before, while we were both at Landstar. He's a good dude. And it's Rob, Big Tex Trucking, if he comes in here. And he has his own authority, and he lives in Dallas. So he and I started talking about what is his strategies, because obviously there are weeks that I can't get to the Midwest. It just wasn't happening. If the schedule didn't work, the rate didn't work. If the rate didn't work, it was something always messed up, or the load was gone, you know. Because what I try to do is I try to go from Missouri, bounce around Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and then come back to Missouri. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So he told me his strategy of how he works, and he told me what he grosses a week. And I'm like, you know what? That's a good strategy for me. And it's not far from what I did at Schneider, you know? And we talked about the law of averages, you know. You know, for example, if you do a load, and here's how the law of averages work, guys. This is why you have to know your number. If you do a load, let's get the calculator out. If you do a load for 430 miles at $900, okay, 430 plus 600 miles for 1,000. Okay, so that's 1,030 miles. That comes out to $1,900. That comes out to $1.90 a mile, right? 400, 600, I think is what I did. 400 miles plus 600 miles. Now, the 1,000-mile load doesn't pay that great per mile. But if you add them all together, we're still in good shape. And a lot of people fail to see that. And that's what Justin Taylor was kind of talking about in a roundabout kind of way. If you take a load, say, to Phoenix, okay, and it pays really good, like let's say $4,000, okay, but then you hem and haw and you sit for 3 days and you can't find a load, you refuse to be loaded for less than $2 a mile, and you deadhead back. Let's say you came from Illinois. That's quite a trek. Let's say you deadhead from Phoenix to, say, Dallas, and then you find something from Dallas. to Illinois. Well, that load that you went to Phoenix with, you know, you did all your miles for that, right? And you should count all miles when figuring out your rate per mile. But when you get to Texas and you go to Illinois, you got to look at the whole trip from Phoenix all the way to Illinois. And a lot of people don't do that. And when you do that math, guess what? You just move that load that was probably 250 a mile for like $1.10. Except that you lost 3 days when you sat in Phoenix looking for that right load, and the deadhead from Phoenix to Dallas anyways. You see how that works? And a lot of us talk to each other and like, oh, I'm getting 250 a mile, I'm getting 350 a mile, I'm getting $4 a mile. And you think that every single load is going to be like that, and it's not. One of the best months I've had here had some of the highest rates per mile I've ever done, some of the lowest rates per mile I've ever done for like trucking. Now Schneider, it went a little bit lower than what I make here. So as far as rate per mile, and you have to look at the big picture. You have to look at the overall picture, and what creates that picture? Consistency. Why was July such a good month for me? It was consistency. Now, I'm not saying you need to move for $1.25 a mile. Now, I'm not saying that at all. However, you can't hit a home run on every single load. When it comes to a baseball game, it's the singles and the doubles and the triples. That's what creates the runners in, not the home runs. I mean, the home runs help. It's nice when you can get 3 days worth of revenue in one day for a good paying load. But what are how often has that been happening here lately? So let's look at the comments here, and then we'll go to our next subject. Let's see. Big Rich, what's up? All right, I think we're up there. Scott's cooking steaks. Big Rose just got in from work. I'm home after dealing with the dang rain. Started in Knoxville, hasn't let up since. I bet, Big Rich. Let's see. Big Rich has a troll. Steady drizzles and wind, not too bad. Clyde, what's up? Your cool is. Why is anybody like blocking that dude? All right, hey Snowler, me and the wife eating dinner. I come back later. Take care, my friend. Okay, you too, Tom. Air Vaquero, no notifications. My things went off. My things went off. So you have to go with the law of averages, and I'm not really gonna. It's. Once I figured this strategy out, once my friend Rob generously helped me, I booked 2 loads within 10 minutes. Decent rates, especially for coming out of the area that I was in. One of the loads is the one that I did out of Gats, and I got more money for it this time. Why? Because there was no truck show that they could use leverage for. So at both loads that I'm doing, there's a familiarity to it. So that's kind of nice. And then that gives me until Thursday to figure out what I want to do from there. Benjamin Duke. I work my books. I'm averaging 231 an average, 2,345 miles. Average deadhead 127. Other operators have sat for 3 days this week. The carrier owner called me, asked to talk to the other owners. I declined. Right. Sitting does not do you any good. Now, deadheading to a better area might be good. And I've done it. However, you got to throw all those miles in there. So if you pick a load that's $4 a mile loaded, what is it after all the deadhead miles? Where's that rate at? And a lot of people don't understand that. Everybody's talking about their dinners. Yes, Taz, I plan on going to the Joplin Truck Show. Mitch Hawthorne. How's it going? How's that battle going? All right, speaking of Mitch Hawthorne, he and I have been emailing back and forth about food and diet and stuff. The other mini epiphanies that I've had the last couple of weeks is regarding health. First of all, I'm down to 345. I was at 352 at the truck show. And I've been reading about, and I know some people cringe at this word because it's a buzzword, but the ketogenic lifestyle. Am I following it to a T? No. However, it's been a steady progression on getting rid of processed carbs. Now, if you guys watched my last video about my Fitness Pal, that's why I'm on there. I'm not really on there to count my calories per se, but to keep track of how many carbs I'm eating, how much fat I'm eating, how much protein I'm eating. Because here's the problem. I've been eating generally healthy for since January, with a couple of times falling off the wagon. And still have managed to lose like 25 pounds. But I was still eating too much food. I was still eating too much protein, right? The only food you can really overeat is like broccoli, spinach, because it's hardly any calories. Like you have to eat like 2 of those frozen bags of spinach to get even 100 calories, and that'll fill you up. For the last week, I have kicked it into higher gear. Now, my carb grams are have been about less than 100, which ketogenic, I think you want to be at 25 or 30. Now, I am stumbling on these videos that were made 3 and 4 and 5 years ago, before ketogenic was a buzzword, before ketogenic got you hits on your video. And I've always been the person that says whether you go ketogenic, vegan, carnivore, paleo, Atkins, people lose weight on those things. Why? Because of the processed carbs. So this whole week, haven't had any bread. I had a little tiny bit of pasta in a dish the other day. And I feel amazing. For example, tonight for dinner, this is what I made the family. When I'm home, I like to cook. Asian medley frozen vegetables combined with chicken breasts, all cooked in butter and spinach. That was dinner. Kids loved it. Right?
Yeah.
See? And Little Viking Coach did a video today that really opened my eyes. He was talking about PET scans, okay? And how glucose is used to find where the tumors are. So not only is a high sugar diet bad for you in the diabetic realm, in the insulin realm, but it's also bad for you in the cancer realm. Now, the other day, little Viking coach who's been doing some serious videos here lately, he did a fasting Friday challenge. And I finally found the challenge that was worth doing. And the goal was to do a 24-hour fast, and I did 20. That's what I did. That was yesterday. I went to bed at 10 o'clock, or stopped eating at 10 p.m. and did not eat until 6 p.m. the next day. I'm not fasting now. No, Bandit, my kids like vegetables. Let's see, All right. Benjamin Duke, go back to rates. My worst was $1.88, best was $2.56. So that's pretty good. 25 pounds is pretty decent weight loss. Thank you, Mr. Chapstick. Smoothie says I lost 12 pounds in 3 months by not getting fries with my burger. Greens, you are unlimited. You can eat as much as you want. Basically, I keep my carb count currently between 40 and 70. And that's what I'm trying to do, TJ. And I know that that's worked for you. See, here's the difference. There was another YouTuber that said that keto was BS. Okay. And I don't go by the videos. I go by the comments in the videos. I go by the people that I have personally talked to that have had success with not necessarily a keto diet, but a low carb diet. What are you meowing about it? You want to go out? Okay. And the proof is in the pudding there, man. Now, where does these little epiphanies come in, Steve? You have to have a certain mindset. Let's see. Let's go to this comment here. Mr. Chapstick, 2010. I can't go without carbs. I don't know how people cut it out. It's like candy to me. I had to learn how to despise that stuff. You have to learn to hate it. You have to hate it with every fiber of your being. It's easy to quit something when you hate it. Like cigarettes, for example. When I was a vocalist and I smoked and I couldn't do vocals anymore, cigarettes went right out the window. There's never been a temptation, and especially after my father dying of lung cancer, never, ever wanted to go back to that. Why? Because I despised cigarettes for what they did to my family and what they did to me. So when I look in the mirror, I look at it's kind of like a cigarette smoker looking at a black lung. And that is my aha moment. I mentioned this on Little Viking Coach's channel. My aha moment is so strong right now. I've lost weight before. I've been pretty decent at times with it. But this is different. And I've got so many friends and so many people, and I got this YouTube where I'm held accountable to make this happen, and I am just on fire with all of this. And you have to educate yourself. I've watched video after video after video about why does ketogenic work? Why does low carbs work? What not to do after a fast? What to do before a fast? And just I'm realizing all the mistakes that I've made. Why I've been struggling for so many years. why you can work yourself to death in a gym and not have any progress, and why you can eat quote unquote perfectly but nothing ever happens. It's I'm learning all this. I've learned that I've been eating too many carbs, too many calories, too much protein, and when I did my juice fast, I was basically in ketogenic, you know, in ketosis. That's the word. And I lost weight. And I thought it was the vegetables. I thought it was the nutrients, but it wasn't. It was the fact that my body was actually taking its energy from the fat because I wasn't taking anything in. Now, yesterday when I did the fast, you know why I broke it? Because I was helping my daughter cook dinner, and I tasted something by accident. Wasn't even thinking because I wasn't starving, and I'm like, oh well, I broke it. I might as well have dinner with the rest of the family, and that was it. That's I would have lasted the 24 hours, and I didn't eat like a pig. I was like at 1,000 calories when I signed off. I think I added a couple more. I had one snack that wasn't good for me, but it wasn't sugary. So I was still like 600 calories below my goal. And if you're too low, my fitness pal will be like, "Shame on you. You need to eat more. Eat more. You're not eating enough carbs." I'm like, "Screw you, my fitness pal. You just need to tell me what I'm eating, not how to eat it." Let's go with some comments here. Pappy Whamma Jamma. My wife tells me the best way I can lose 15 pounds of ugly fat is to chop my head off. Life Like I, how's it going? Making another batch of large credit card payments next week. Says Jim Tarina. My trainer and I have run 4,217 miles so far this week. Second pay stub bigger than the first. Nice to be employed again. Good deal, Jim. I'm glad things are working out for you. Bandit says I've never met a kid that liked vegetables. My kid, it's all on how you raised them. I was raised on, my family, we had gardens, so we had salad every night for dinner, and there's only one vegetable that I can't eat, and it's asparagus. That's it. Mitch Hawthorne, no carbs for 2 weeks. Still don't have the carbs out of my system. I measure with ketone test strips. Just can't get to a state of ketosis. Mitch, I think Little Viking Coach talked about that. You're not in full blown ketosis yet, but just cut out the carbs. You'll get there. My downfall is sugar in my coffee. Life Like I. I used to be a sugar in the coffee person, um, but make it a little bit weaker and you could stand the taste. I love coffee though. Eric says, I think like every 10 pounds equals like 100 pounds of pressure on your joints, knees, and ankles. You know, that's a good point, Eric, because I have I've had more energy to get up out of the chair. I spent a lot of walking when I was at MHC Kenworth, walking around looking at the the fancy new trucks, and I felt pretty good. I wasn't out of breath. It was awesome. I look at carbs as only use it to refine your fat burning. Carbs actually restart your ketosis if your body goes into starvation mode. TJ, that's a good point. I'll still eat fruit. That's the problem of me calling it full keto because now I've been eating a whole lot of fruit, but like for example, check this out. This is my little victory today. We decided we're going to take my oldest daughter out for lunch, and she picked IHOP, and I'm just like, and you go to IHOP, International House of Pancakes, right? They've got 50 million sugary decadent pancake meals, right? Not tempted by any of them. None of them. Nada. Why? Because I hate this stuff. I hate this stuff, right? So what did I order? I ordered 4 eggs, 2 sausage patties, 4 pieces of bacon, and a bowl of fruit. That's what I had. And wasn't tempted by any of the sugary stuff, you know. Didn't get pancakes, didn't get any of that stuff. Didn't get potatoes. And after dinner, I felt pretty good. I wasn't all bloated. I wasn't like miserable. You know, I wasn't falling asleep in the chair when I got home. And that's what a lot of carbs do, man. You eat, like end of Thanksgiving, everybody falls asleep on the chair or whatever. That's not the tryptophan. That's sugar doing that. Wiggle Wagon says down 32 pounds since July 9th. Try to keep my carbs under 20. Oh, I lost your comment there. Oh, keto is working for me. Right. You're another person. There's so many people I know that are doing this, that are doing well with it. You're doing the LVC fast on Friday. Cool. Yeah, I saw that. So happy to hear you doing a ketogenic diet. It really is effective. I'm very fit, and that's one reason why I keep it up. Lifestyle change, not a diet. Right, CPAP. Fasting is a hit and miss for me. I eat 6 times a day every 2.5 hours, between 21 and 600. I don't eat. I drink 64-ounce minimum fluids. Yeah, LVC brought up a point, and Butter Bob has brought up a point, that the point of the ketogenic diet is to bring your body back in tune with when it's really honestly hungry. And if you use a paleo approach to the one meal a day, if it didn't grow or didn't have a mom, you don't eat it. Mr. Chapstick, steamed asparagus is bad with lemon. I think I might be allergic to asparagus. That's the only reason why I don't eat it, because I had a really bad reaction to it when I was a kid. Ketosis supplement, rider, trucker, nomad. I've heard people disagree with that. Harold, what's up? Fruit is sugar, the worst kind. It'll kick you right out of ketosis. I disagree with that too, in a way, because when I was doing my juice fast, I would juice like apples and lemons and oranges, and with the kale and the spinach and the cucumbers and all that stuff. And I lost weight. I was losing a pound a day. Now, next gen, he told me that berries are your best bet. Blueberries, not so many blueberries, but like raspberry, blackberry. And again, I didn't eat a whole bunch. The bowl was about like it like half this phone. That's how big the bowl was. It wasn't much. And I'm only at 70 grams of carbs right now, according to my MyFitnessPal. Dow Brothers, what's up? Pappy says stay away from soda. That stuff is pure poison. I wholeheartedly agree with you, Pappy. Little Bike Coach says olives are a great source of pure fat. Keep in the truck. Right. I need to stock up on the olives. I used to eat olives all the time. They're great to put in the truck because they're canned. You don't need to refrigerate them. Okay, Scott Harrod. I have a problem eating while driving because I get bored. That was one of my biggest problems. and it's still, that habit is still wanting to be there. It still lingers. And so the way I defeated that for the most part is that I went from the junk snack foods like Pringles, pork rinds, stuff like that, to fresh vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, carrots. I would take bell peppers and just eat them like apples. And that kind of got the boredom thing going away. But I had to physically and mentally tell myself, stop doing that. And so I'm talking on the phone. When I'm talking on the phone, I'm not tempted to eat as much. And like my satellite radio, I think I've turned it on like twice in the last month. So that if you know that's your weakness, and the other, the cool thing about snacking while driving is if you think you've had enough, but you're going to be tempted to eat the whole thing, you take it, throw it in the sleeper, out of reach. I've done that many times. So I understand your battle there, Scott. Dow Brothers finally posted my first vlog. James' best game in the final push. Awesome. We'll check it out. Everybody subscribe to Dow Brothers. See what he's got going on over there. When you hit a plateau, cut the fruit. I will definitely do that. Like I said, I don't eat much fruit anyways. I put a toothpick or gum in my mouth while driving to keep me occupied sometimes, Miss Chapstick. And every now and then I'll get a craving for sugar. That's what Tic Tacs do. Tic Tacs, boom, I'm good. Yeah, pistachios are expensive. Pork rinds are no carbs but high sodium. Yeah, if you got a choice between chips and pork rinds, then yeah, pork rinds are the way to go. When you lose weight and your body returns itself back to normal, you will always be in a mild fat burn, and hence why you fuel to start out your starvation mode. Starve mode can be mistaken for ketosis. I agree with that, TJ. And that's the thing, New Beef Steve, if he pops in here, he's a Snyder guy I used to talk to, still do if he calls, and he and he tells me that once you get past a certain point, you won't have any cravings. The cravings just won't be there. You won't, the whole point of doing this is to get my body back to normal. A normal person eats when they're hungry. My daughter's like that. She only eats when she's hungry. Olives and avocados are both fruits, very nutritionally dense. Do I take any vitamins or supplements? No, I try to. I do take probiotics, for the gut health thing, ever since reading Karen Little Burns' book. But I have a little pill box with vitamins, but I'm not a good pill taker, because if I'm one of these old people that has to take 20 pills a day, I'm going to die because I just forget it, And that's what I'm trying to avoid, is get to that point. Sean Baker's videos. I'll check that out. Pappy. Mitch says, I'm also battling salt. No salt is tough. It is tough. That's my next goal once I get to a certain point. But see, when you cut out your food and you cut back on how much you're eating, that helps the salt naturally. Rider, trucker, nomad. You're talking about salt and ketosis. I think when I was doing my juice fast and I was in full blown ketosis, I needed salt. I craved salt, and it was a struggle. Like I didn't have sugar cravings anymore, but I had salt cravings. But the meals, like especially in restaurants, man, I mean, there are some places that I eat. I'm just like, this is nothing but salt. This ain't tomato sauce. It's salty sauce with tomato flavoring. Italian restaurants, Mexican restaurants are really bad about that. And well, I guess they all are. Chinese too. Um, and I used to like put soy sauce on ramen noodles. I mean, that's how bad I was with the salt. Mr. J. Barrett, I've done every diet. I was 397 pounds. I'm now 241. I just stopped drinking soda pop and eating candy. I cut back on the amount I eat. It took 2 years. There you go. Yes, McDonald's hamburgers are patties are salty. Make your water alkaline and drink apple cider vinegar. I've been doing that. I've been doing the apple cider vinegar and lemon. I've been doing that once a night at dinner. So, anyways, so for the last 2 weeks, I've had these really emotional, like just mental epiphany breakthroughs that are just lighting us on fire. And I can't describe to you guys how good I feel as far, physically and mentally. And I only wish to show how I'm doing it so maybe it can influence somebody else. And what I'm doing is not a diet. It's a complete change in how I look at food, how I feel about food, and how I feel about health, how I feel about the food industry. I mean, I get almost anxiety attacks when I go into a grocery store because it's like walking through trash is what it is to me. Your brain is being fed properly with the right healthy fats. I agree, TJ. I, I mean, yeah, it's a health journey. Very good. Yes. Have I ever thought about doing yoga? Yes. I also drink grapefruit juice before each meal. But, anyways, that's what's going on with me. That's what my weekend live is about tonight. Um, been going through a lot of things, and it's a daily struggle. Just like I said in the two videos, I talk to people and they say, "Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that," and you haven't been to that point yet. I was, if you become diabetic, you can't drive anymore. If your heart rate's not right, if your health isn't right, you can't drive anymore. And if you hate truck driving, then find something that it's like when there's a movie called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and the guy profiles a dude that was a truck driver, drove for night transportation. Big dude, right? And I could tell just from the movie that he just hated truck driving. As soon as he was out of the truck, he lost a lot of weight, plus the juicing and everything else. But in part two, Fat, Sick, Nearly Dead part two, they go revisit him, and he's back in the truck, and he's struggling with his weight again. See, there's a mental aspect. Dr. Berg did a really good video about, is sugar causing you, or is stress causing you to be fat? and he goes over the whole cycle, the vicious cycle that you're in, that we are in, and so that's why it's hard to give up the sodas and the chips and just the bad stuff, because we eat that stuff when we're stressed. Why? Because makes us feel good, and it's hard to stop things that make you feel good. The White Coach, everyone's battle of food industry, and they're selling mostly poison. I agree with you. Jeff Volek, Don D. Agostinio, Dr. Finette, Feldman, good video resources, science based for keto. Yeah, just being mindful of it can help you make the right choice in the grocery stores, knowing what to stick to and what to avoid. Right, and that's why I started my Fitness Pal again. I was on there a while back and I've lost weight with it, but it's being mindful. I mean, if I write down my fuel and if I'm keeping track of my numbers in the truck, why can't I do that for myself? What fruits do I eat, Steve? In the past week, I've had like the fruit cup I bought at IHOP was it was a little tiny bit of blueberries, grapes, strawberries, and honeydew lemon or honeydew melon, not lemon. And I've snacked on a couple of blueberries, and that's about it. I haven't been eating a whole lot of fruit. I like all fruits, but you should check out Diamond Dallas Page. I've seen his results, Scott Herod, and yes, I've looked in. I need to look into that. When going through a life change and the family doesn't follow along, it was depressing for me and discouraging. Jeff, here's the deal, man. I figure I can't make changes for anybody else until I show the world that I can do it. Because I've been that heavyset guy giving diet advice before. So I think that instead of trying to tell my family what to do and how to do it, I'm going to show them by example. And if they want to do it, fine. If not, I'm not letting them stop me. And it's important for me not only to improve my health for my own sake, but for others' sake as well. And if I can get just more than me on a healthy track and shove it up the sugar industry's butt, then then we're off to a good start, right? Little like coach. Annette Barella, I'm doing keto, no cravings, and I'm almost to ketosis. Individual choice. Start with you, not the world. Right. And it helps to have people with you. And I've got that. Man, I can't tell you, like for example, Little Viking Coach, right? Everybody knows him from his parodies. But he called me out at GATS and said, hey, man, you really want to lose weight? I think that was his way of show me that you're really serious about that. And I weighed myself at GATS and put it out on the whole for the whole world to see. And I did that on purpose because number one, if you're struggling, we can email each other, we can talk to each other here, and we can support each other. But two, because 6 months from now, I don't want people going, oh, Steve, how's the weight loss going? Are you making it? Hmm. I don't want that. I don't want to delete my channel. Like, oh man, I've gained 100 pounds. Chop. They benefit from it. My kids are thin, but we saw complexion changes in them for the better, and their fast food bellies and pancake bellies disappeared. Excellent, TJ. I prefer the Jim Beam slugging LVC with the giant tuna hammer, right? I think he fasted for like a week after that, probably. Accountability, right? And that's why I believe Ike Stevens did the same thing. He's talking about how this was my last Dr. Pepper, and he wanted that accountability. And like I said, guys, and once you start feeling the physical change, and once you start feeling the mental change, it becomes easier and easier and easier. And there's just like the trucking world, there's a lot of videos about this subject, that have different motives, and you have to really watch what you're watching out there. Perfect example. There's a movie that I stumbled on Netflix called What the Health, and they literally had these doctors say that sugar does not cause diabetes. And Time Magazine called them out on that one. And what it was a vegan movie, and they just wanted people to, they blamed all the diabetes and all the health problems on processed meats. And so there was an ulterior motive. And then the magic pill talks about how, okay, their heart's in the right place, but they're essentially given the wrong information. The goal isn't 10, 20, 30 pounds. It's being here 10, 20, 30 years from now for you and your family. Right, Herbaquero. And Butter Bob, who's just, his channel is just amazing, explains that. It's like, and Dr. Berg mentioned the extreme. Well, eating a high-fat diet is extreme. Don't you think? No, the level of diabetes in the country is extreme. The level of sugar that we all eat is extreme. The level of the medical industry money is extreme. That's extreme. I think as drivers, we get comfortable in our seats and don't move around as part of the job, keeping the door closed, not to mention we have limited options of cheap fast food. Right, Miss Chapstick, that's what makes it a challenge. That's what makes it a struggle. You drive 11 hours in some BS traffic, and you had a crappy shipper, and your dispatcher's yelling at you, and you had to pay for parking or fight for a parking spot. The last thing you want to do is, I think I'm going to cook some broccoli. I mean, I've been there, done that. There's been times where I walked into, whatever, I'm like, I've had a crappy day. Screw it. And then I screwed myself by eating the wrong thing. Remember the non-schlage victories as well. Not sure what you're talking about. Oh, non-scale victories as well. Inches lost, energy, lower BP. Right. And there have been times where I feel so amazing to get on scale, like, oh, well, I lost a pound. But then there are times when I don't feel like great. And I get on scale, I've lost like 5 pounds. You need to always ask who is funding the study. Right, little white coach. And that's what Time Magazine found out, was that a lot of these doctors or studies that were done about sugar were actually supported by sugar companies. Spooby, are you taking request LVC do a video why truckers should wear compression sock sleeves? I would like to know that information too. Captain Jim, rest in peace, he did a video about that. And I'm still not sure what he passed away from. But, I think about that often. Michael N., I'm going to send you a video to your phone. You'll have to send it through email, Michael N. Maybe. It might be easier. Oh, let's see. I think if I was on the road in the sleeper all the time, I'd get me one of those new wave ovens that cooks up meat thawed or from frozen. Um, Big road, little truck. That's one of the arguments that I hear a lot, and CPAP was kind of talking about it a little bit. What if you can't cook in the truck? Some of these companies don't let you have inverters in the truck, um, or they won't let you have microwaves. They won't let you have any cooking devices in the truck. What if you don't have that? What can you do? What are the strategies if you're on a limited budget or you can't make the Walmart or grocery store and you have to live off of the convenience foods? Well, I always thought that that would be the biggest challenge. And in a way, it is. But when you get to where I'm at now and where Little Viking Coach is, you eat less and less. So it's a lot easier to keep the food non perishables like, salmon, tuna, olives, you know, some green vegetables like spinach and everything in cans. And you can even get them low sodium and have that for the rainy days. Have that for when you're at the shipper too long and you can't go out to eat, and then you have to find your strategies that work for you have to find a strategy that works for all aspects of trucking. If you can't carry a cooler with you, then you have to look at non-perishables. That's what I did when I had my Peterbilt. If you can't even carry that, or you're a day cab driver, and you rely on the convenience store for food, what can you eat out of there that will not screw you up? And so they're like CPAP had, or TJ Jones had a good, um, somebody. It was either TJ, CPAP, or Little Bike Coach had a good strategy. If you can't make it, like if you go to Subway, just get the steak and eggs without bread, put it in a bowl, and you're good to go. Little stuff like that. I agree, David. David, I agree with you, Mitch. Yes, TMI too. My weight can go up or down like 4 or 5 pounds a day. It kind of depends on me. I'd only monitor my weight like once a week to compare to the last one, doing it around the same time for a weigh-in to stay consistent. Right. And the truck stop scales, you got to like weigh yourself 5 times to get the average, because they aren't um, they aren't accurate. But you know, and I can't, like I said, I can't even begin to tell you the mindset that I have now. And I'm gonna post a couple of things here. I'm gonna talk about a couple of things here. Let's go back to trucking, shall we? Um, I told you I talked about Justin Taylor. Let me read you one of the articles that I read from him. If you're friends with me on Facebook, there's one called "You Know Your Numbers?" question mark. Now I'd read it out loud, but that's a lot of reading. You just have to find me. It's also on. If you look up Justin Taylor on YouTube, you can follow him without being his friend and see these articles. And then the Snore Lord page has on Facebook. I copy and pasted his article labeled. Oh, where are you at? What you are your own worst enemy. You are your worst enemy. And that is the one that really hit home with me because of what I was dealing with at home. So now let's see let's what we got here. TJ, I agree. My sleep is awesome now, and lots of repair happens during sleep. Buy a lunchbox cooker. Yeah, I've got one of those, and one of my highest viewed videos is cooking. I need to do a couple more of those cooking videos. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Jeff Beard. It's something that owner operators should all learn. I should post the other one on my Snow Alert channel. Um, Now, on a less serious note, did you guys see the video I posted of the dude from the Weather Channel pretending that it was like super windy and being all dramatic? And then there's like two people just kind of walking around him like nothing was going on. The problem that I have with that, it's hilarious, but the problem that I have with that is how much of the Weather Channel being out there in the elements to over sensationalize what's going on with the hurricane, how much is that it's for ratings and how much is that because they actually want to tell you what's going on. I have noticed a long time ago that I can watch the Weather Channel for an hour and not know anything new. But I've been bombarded with food ads, medicine ads, and just new car ads over and over and over. So I usually watch the Weather Nation. Within 10 minutes, I get all the information I need, and I'm gone. So I think that just like anything else, man, there's an ulterior motive. They're not doing that for the sake of our sake. They're doing it for, you know, ratings. And then I posted a video of a guy that was making fun of that, and that one's hilarious. You guys just have to check that out. Harold says there's also a photo of CNN making it look like the water's super deep with the reporter chest deep, but a bystander took a photo showing he is in a puddle, camera guy in ankle deep water. Right. And I don't understand why they have to do that. Yeah, fake news has infected the Weather Channel. Seen 7 or 8 spoofs, yeah. The best ratings the Weather Channel gets is hurricane coverage. Otherwise, it's used to aid in falling asleep. It's all about ratings, right? So, how much of this hurricane did we think was going to be super bad was over sensationalized? You know, so where I judge that is the press conferences that the governor and FEMA puts on. That's where your true news is. So 9% of it, right? So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We're at an hour. Unless there's some other questions you have, about anything, go for it. California weather report will be 70 or 72 today. Yeah, Big Girl Little Truck shows you that media, brainwashing, and fake news are actually real. It's still pretty bad. I get lots of family on North Carolina coast. Carolina coast, and I agree that, but that's the problem. If videos like this come out that they're trying to overstate it, then what that does is that takes away the attention for the people that really did get it bad. And that's a problem to me. And so now we're like left with how bad is it? Is it really bad or is it not? And you only know due to family and friends. And news shouldn't do that to you. The Weather Channel shouldn't do that to you. They're defeating the cause. Mr. Arturo Williams, hey Snorler, good job on your health. Keep it up, man. I'm about to sign on with Landstar. Flatbed division. I'm based out of Springfield, Missouri. Mr. Arturo, you will do well. Landstar Flatbed has a lot of good freight. If you go to the Come and Go on 65 in Kearney, there's a Landstar guy that does heavy haul. He parks his truck there all the time. Nice dude. So if you can talk to him, man, he'll talk to you for a minute. He's a good dude. I know you said that Landstar was tough for you. Can you touch on that a bit? What was the main reason you had issues? Any advice you have? All right, Mr. Williams. When you first start out at Landstar, okay, let me rephrase that. When I started out at Landstar, most new guys have to start off on the low boards before you develop relationships with the agents and all that. Same thing in the spot market. And the problem that I encountered was that there were 10 loads on the low board. I would call all 10. They were all gone, or they didn't exist, or they were the same load. One load posted 10 times. And the other problem that I had was I fell into the trap of what I was just talking about at the beginning of this video about I ain't moving this truck for this much per mile, blah, blah, blah. You know, I didn't know how to create consistency. And so my rate per mile was good, but then I suffered with consistency. It was feast or famine. And a lot of that was my own doing, and a lot of that was, a big part of that was the low board system and how it works. And my advice to you is, do not tick off an agent, because once you are blacklisted, you will not be able to find loads. If you have several breakdowns during loads, you will not be. No one will want to use you. You have to go up the totem pole. You have to know the tricks. You know, if you've never dealt with brokers before, the agents, you know, basically it's the same thing. A lot of Landstar loads are third-party logistics, 3PL. And so what happens is your information can be misstrued. Oh, they told you to be there at 10. It was actually 9, and now you're late because the agent didn't get it right from C.H. Robinson. So a lot of the money's cut. You know, if C.H. Robinson has a load for $2,000 with $200 TARP pay, Landstar might post it for less than that so they can get their cut. If I had to go back to Landstar now, I would probably do a lot better because my skills are better, my negotiating skills are better, my people skills are better, and learning the phone call and the rate con and all that system, I'm better at it now. So that was part of the problem. Landstar is a tough gig as a first-time owner-operator, and that's exactly what I did. So the reason why I left there and went to Snyder is because I could create consistency. They had more freight in my area, and it was a lot easier just to click on 4 or 5 loads for the week than to make call after call after call after call just for one load that may not pay great. So with that being said, I learned how to survive, you know, and then rates hit rock bottom, and I had to learn how to survive that. While guys were going out of business left and right at Landstar, I kept right on going. And finally I jumped ship and went to Snyder, and all the people that were struggling with me, they either sold their trucks or the bank repoed them, or they went somewhere else. But from what I've heard lately, the rates are good, and if you can get a good agent that's got good freight, then you're styling. So, and I know that the flatbed's got a lot of good money over there. Yeah, I hear you, Jeff. So, but my advice to you is don't get blacklisted with these agents. You know, and here's the other trap a lot of guys would do. They might have a $600 a month truck payment. So what they'll do is they'll work for a week, then take a week off, or work for another week, take a week off. And and they think, well, my truck's paid off, or it's an old truck, so my costs are low, so I can do that. The problem with that is the agents can have access to information. So if they see that you're one of those kind of workers, they won't put you on the good loads. If let's say you're in good with a not Walmart or Amazon or something like that, and then one day you call them, hey, I'm not working this week. Well, now they're going to start looking for other trucks, and if those people do a better job than you, guess what? You're never getting a phone call. Um, there's definitely money to be made at Landstar, but I struggle with it because of my lack of knowledge, and because of the rates. The rates were like, you're lucky to get $2 a mile at the time that I was there. Now that's like the norm. So Kristen Chucker, what's up? Mr. Williams says, thanks for the info. First time owner op as well. Learning to handle the agents is something I'm going to have to get used to. And make sure you save your money. You got to make it 90 days. And then after that, Landstar will help you with the big repair, if you can't afford it. But if you do that too many times, they won't do it for you anymore. Um, keep all your rate cons, and you're going to start a do not haul list for, agents are in 3-letter codes, and you're going to start a list of which agents you like using and which ones you don't. And join all the Landstar Facebook pages that you can. You're going to need a driver number to do that. How's the fasting? I made it 20 hours. Didn't quite make it 24. And that was kind of by accident. And see, and I'm not really going to sensationalize that, because I don't want people to think that you got to do something extreme to get to where I'm at. So like, oh, yeah, Steve lost weight. He lost 100 pounds because he didn't eat anything. I don't want to do that. And because for the people that aren't willing to fast, I need to, they need to be shown that weight loss can occur without having to do something that they feel is drastic. All right, TJ. Don't burn the bridges, right. I saw Trucker Brown got screwed by relying on the dispatcher after being broken down. They gave him a $300 load. He was mad. Steve Berger, what's up? You missed it all, man. You're late. I don't follow Trucker Brown. A lot of people talk about him, but I really don't follow him. Nothing against the guy. I've just never really heard of him. So, but now here's the little victory I had today also. I normally wear 4X t-shirts. Today, I fit in a 3X. And it wasn't like, my gut wasn't like up to here. It wasn't like that. And that is a big deal to me, because I've got a lot of 3X shirts that I can't fit in anymore. And there's a couple of shirts I really wanted at Gats, but couldn't buy them because they only had up to 3X. And so yeah, I'm a t-shirt collector. I love t-shirts. And the fact that I've had to put over half of them away, and I'm having to buy these $5 color pocket tees, it bothers me. It bothers me. Every little bit counts. I have IBS. Fasting is counterproductive for me. If I could get off the sugar treats, I'd make progress if I really wanted. You're right, Clyde. Thank you for your congrats. The only thing I can tell you guys is everybody has to have their aha moment. If you don't have that aha moment, there's really nothing you can do. People can tell you you need to do this or you need to do that or you should do this or you should do that. But until you absolutely want to, until you absolutely have to, if the doctor calls you and say, "Hey, man, you're only getting a 3-month card. If you don't fix your stuff, you're done." Then you go, "Okay, what can I do?" Now you're looking at doing something extreme. So if you can make small changes and feel those changes, and then look at those resources, research, educate yourself, and you have to change your mindset. It's not aha moment is changing your mindset. Sugary treats aren't a temptation to me because I'm disgusted by it. When I smell Cinnabons, I just like, oh god, you know. And does that sound a little extreme? Yeah, but you know, one Cinnabon has like what 2,000 calories, and it's all carbs. That's extreme. Not wanting a cinnamon roll, that's not extreme. Eating it is extreme to me. And I can't. I don't want to give health advice. I just want to tell you what's working for me. And all these the really good video channels, they tell you that it just depends on your body. It depends on what you need, what your needs are, and you can't sit there and drink. I'm sorry, but you can't sit there and drink Mountain Dew and eat potato chips and just eat like baked chicken instead of fried chicken and. But you know what though? That's a little victory though. It's the little victories. It's the little victories that finally add up. Next thing you know, 10 pounds are lost. You're like, wow, cool. And then that starts that mental snowball. And that's what I've been doing for the last since January. That's why I've lost 25 pounds, because I was like, little snowball, little bit. And now just the last 3 weeks have just been, that snowball is big and it's going down the hill pretty fast. And I'm enjoying every second of it. And I just want more. I want more. I want this stuff off right now. I want this gut gone. And I meditated on it every night. And it takes it takes a mindset to succeed at anything, whether it be health, trucking, business, running um, you know a store, anything. It takes a certain mindset to put you in the right place, so that when the bad things come along, when the negative stuff comes after you, you're able to deal with it. What do you do when you don't have food in your truck? What do you do if you are stuck at this truck stop that has absolutely nothing but day old pizza to eat? You know, how do you deal with that? That's what I'm trying to learn. That's what my struggle is all about, is to see what works for me. And if you like it, fine. If not, try your own thing, and we'll bounce ideas off each other. We're in this battle together. And the not only the physical changes, but the mental clarity that you get when you're in ketosis. I've been there, and I'm about halfway there. Just the weight loss and the lack of sugar, my mental state is a lot clearer, a lot better. And it's just There's too many cards stacked against us, so it can't be done alone sometimes. But you have to have that aha moment. So if you don't, if you feel like you're having problems, if you feel like having a struggle, find the videos that inspire you. Find the people that inspire you. And hopefully I could be one of those people. Maybe. I hope. But only time will tell. See you guys. Thanks for watching. Click on the bell if you like this. If not, doesn't matter. Thumbs down, thumbs up, same way. In fact, hit that thumbs down twice if you don't like it. Thanks for watching, guys. Be good, be safe, and, find what works. Later.